There's very few times when somebody makes a decision that I think 100% people are on board for. And when he made a decision to MMA, I don't feel like there was one single person that doubted that that's what he should be doing.
He said, I gotta call him. I know this is what I need to do. I gotta fight. He just put everything he owned in his car and said, I'm out of here. And that's when we knew he was committed. He just gave it all, everything up. And here he is today.
I can sit here and tell you that I'm a world champion because of the hours that I've put in and the sacrifices that I've made. But if I didn't wake up every single morning knowing that my mom and dad outwork me every single day, then I wouldn't be where I am today. My dad was the hardest working man I know. The home that I grew up in High Ridge, Missouri, my dad built it with his bare hands. But my mom was really kind of the glue that held us all together.
Having a blue collar like carpenter as a dad, and then I would say like a businesswoman as a mother, we all got the perfect example of how to work hard and then also work with your mind and be smart.
You know, life is crazy when you're working 2 jobs and your husband's working 2 jobs and you have 3 kids and you're trying to provide for them. So life is crazy, but they never complained. They never felt sorry for themselves.
See, he's seen us work so hard. And he saw it from us, and he says that's where he got it, but he's also got it right inside here.
I think the coolest thing about my childhood, honestly, was the fact that me and my brothers grew up in the woods. Because my mom worked 2 jobs, and she worked in the restaurant industry, she would work weekends. You know, my dad being the man that he is kind of like, forget this, I'm not gonna, you know, hang out here at the house with the kids. I'm gonna go take them and turn them into real men. What home is with my dad, it's either on a boat bass fishing or sitting in the woods around a campfire. That was the main bonding that me and my 2 brothers did with my dad. We literally have been in the woods since we were in diapers.
Typical brothers, 3 boys, wild as heck, rocking and rolling all the times. They all had a lot of energy.
Well, there was 3 of them, so you know there was always an oddball. But they did a great job together. They were buddies.
It's hard looking back on childhood when you think about where you did well as a big brother and where you fell short as a big brother.
To exemplify who my brother is to the fullest, I remember he got a blow dart gun, and I remember thinking there's not a good idea for him to have a blow dart gun.
I was literally, you know, light enough to be able to stand on top of one of our big trash cans, and I was standing there with my blow dart in hand. Dart locked and loaded. Right at the last moment, he heard me laugh. So he looked, and he looked up, and he realized.
All of a sudden, he shoots me with this blow dart gun. The blow dart goes right in my forearm, and I look at him like, why did you do that? Then about 5 minutes later, he's inside, and he's breaking all of his blow darts off, and he's almost in tears, and he's throwing it away, and he looks at me, and he says, I'm sorry. That was really stupid. He's man enough to know when he's screwed up. But I mean, the blow dart, I mean, I could have died.
When I was 5 years old, my dad got me into wrestling.
He wrestled from 5 years old till he was about 12, and then he took a break. You know, you're getting too serious, you still need your childhood.
Michael was he was a determined child. He was harder on himself than we were.
I don't know, it was hard on me. You know, I think wrestling is such a hard sport for young children.
So for about 2 years, we did nothing but our hunting and fishing and father and son bonding, and it was excellent.
And then as soon as he got back to high school, they sent around a paper for wrestling, and he came home and said,
I'm ready. And I knew then he meant it. He was ready.
My first match in high school was on varsity, and I went out there and I won. It kind of gave me that confidence that, shoot, if you just want to match on varsity, you're only a freshman. Let's see what you can do.
And once he started to get wins, that's all he needed. That taste of success for him, it drove him. And Michael really became the first kid that we coached to make wrestling his life. Even in the off season, we would have strength training. Well, Michael had broken his hand in football. Next thing you know, we see him in the weight room in a cast, and he's doing one arm snatches and cleans.
I had to wear a cast for 6-8 weeks or whatever it was, but yeah, I wasn't gonna not work out. That was probably the dirtiest, smelliest cast ever.
We do a drill called Bull in the Ring, and you put one guy out there, or for 10, 12 minutes, a fresh guy comes at him every 10 or 15 seconds. He would not let himself go there. No matter how tired he was, he still would not give in.
So many times in life we're in a bull in the ring. You got so many things getting thrown at you, and this life is meant to break you if you will let it. You just keep getting back up and you wipe the sweat off your brow and you just keep moving forward. 2004, my senior year, the Missouri State High School Wrestling Championships were at the Hearn Center in Columbia, Missouri.
He had his sights set on a state title. I mean, he was ranked #1 going into the state tournament. It was his state title to lose.
3 years prior to that, I had made it so close and always made it to state and always sabotaged myself or fell short. But senior year, I said, this is my year. This is not going to happen. I'm going to go out there and win a state title. Win my first couple matches and I make it to the state finals and go out there and start off good, but I end up losing the match. So once again, I'm a failure.
I drove him home that night. It was just he and I. And from here to Columbia, Missouri, where the state finals were held, is about 3.5 hours. It was the longest ride I ever had in my life. He sat in the back seat, I sat in the front, and we didn't say one word to each other. And that's really unusual, and let him think about it.
When you lose in the state finals and you're not a state champion, how are you expected to go wrestle Division I, for Coach Brian Smith's Mizzou Tigers?
I found out there was this young man crying in a hallway because he lost the state finals. And he thought Mizzou's not going to recruit me. When I heard that, I remember seeing him at camps, I'm like, this kid's pretty good. We got to give him a look. We didn't offer him anything, but we said, we'll give you a spot.
He had a bunch of colleges that were going to give him a nice sum of money, but he said, I want to go to Mizzou. I have to go to the best where I know I can become the best.
I had the opportunity, I said, forget it, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go to Mizzou and I'm going to walk onto the team. But everybody was like, why are you doing that? What are you thinking? What's your goal? You want to just go not start? You just want to go wrestle for 5 years and be a wrestling partner, be a training partner for 5 years?
The type of person to be in this program is a person that wants to live it right in all aspects of your life, day after day after day. And there's been many a great wrestler that hasn't been able to do it, that hasn't made it here.
I missed out on a lot of what most would call the college experience because I just embedded myself in the wrestling room, in the weight room.
There were days I had to throw him out of the practice room and say, you cannot work out. Do not find another wrestling room. You cannot work out anymore. He finally gets on the team and his second year earns the spot as a redshirt freshman.
Come on, Michael!
His leadership was not only what he would say, but what he brought to the room and the way he lived his life. He changed the whole mindset of my recruiting. They don't have to be the greatest, at that point, because if they want to train at this level, they're going to do great things.
The reason he's the greatest coach in the world is because when you come in as a recruit or you come in as a freshman, his goal is not to make you a national champion or an All-American. That's part of it. But his main goal is to make you a high-functioning member of society. I have no doubt that I am the man that I am because of my 5 years that I spent there under him and watching how he conducted his life.
The funny thing of MMA from Missouri, we have unbelievable success, and everybody thinks that I'm pushing them towards it. I don't. It's not my favorite. Let's just put it this way, because I recruit these guys out of high school, and the biggest promise I make to their families is that they're going to get their degree.
And he came home and he says, I think I'm going to get into the fighting. And I'm like, are you sure that's what you want to do?
Luckily for me, I had two guys that I wrestled with, Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley, both come out ahead of me, wrestled at Mizzou, graduated, and then started fighting. Those two guys were like my big brothers, so I figured I'd give it a try and have not looked back since. You know, I had a great path, and then got the opportunity to fight a top 5 guy in the world in Eddie Alvarez. He had had 22 fights at the time, and I think it was only my 8th fight. I was a, 1,000-to-1 underdog, but I knew that he hadn't done what I had, inside that Mizzou wrestling room. I knew I was going to go out there and beat him, and that's what I did.
We won it, and the whole family was there, and it was so outstanding. We knew that this is something that he wanted so bad.
It's just something about watching your brother go out there and get hit, it's just, you kind of want to be in there with him.
He's obviously been super successful at it, but that just adds to the stress of watching your brother go out there and battle.
By the conversations I've had with Michael, I think he knows where he wants his career to go and end, but I don't like watching it. I like watching them when they go out and boom, and it's over quick, and Michael does that often.
People always say, how do you handle your son fighting? I said, you have to stand behind your children. There was a couple fights that were like, whoa, but that's what he enjoys, and he's good at it.
I've made my life and living off of surrounding myself with the right people, the best people I possibly can. Just to have that kind of support and to feel that kind of love, it makes you want to fight that much harder. I'm just a normal guy from a normal little town, but if you set your mind to something, you can accomplish great things.